Yo, what's good, you guys? Peek out here in Singapore. Oops, what did I say? No, it's not the out here in Singapore. So yeah, I'm back, you guys. Posted this morning about my idea of what dignity is and the fact that every one of us is looking for it. And with that same concept in mind, I want to talk to you about a situationship. So a couple years ago, I remember a couple young men. Uh, Sylvester McNutt and his friend, I think, were talking about, situationships, and basically the concept being that, people jump into a relationship mostly for sex, but then, my personal friend, my friend with benefits, uh, for pretend, in private, so no one else really knows, that kind of situation, right? It's so prevalent right now, and I think Tinder has kind of made it worse. But the point being that people don't really get into a relationship to know each other anymore. It's kind of like to fill a hole, fill a void. So if I'm lonely on a Saturday night and you happen to be lonely on a Saturday night and somehow or another we both meet each other, then the situationship becomes, oh, well, every Saturday night, because I have an opening and you have an opening, we're just going to hang out, and this is going to be our relationship status, basically. I can't tell nobody about you. I will deny it if anyone asks, but this is going to be our hookup phase or whatever. I don't know what you want to call it. It's strange, right? But the point being that you don't actually feel anything. You're numbing it. You're covering it for the moment. A situation is not a real relationship. A situationship is one of those things where, we're going to meet an immediate want. It's not even a need. And because there is no substance to it, you're still going to be lonely. You're still going to feel like shit. And every time you partake in these stupid activities, it just kill you slowly, basically. So the reason I brought this up is because more and more of the conversations I'm having about life and where all your troubles lie and why you're so upset and confused and feel depressed and suicidal and all these things is because you have a situationship going on. Yep, I said it. Y'all got situationships going on. And I really want y'all to pay attention to that because it's a lot more common than you think. There are so many people in here that are like, I can't admit that I like you, and I can't admit to anybody that I'm around you or spend time with you, but I like you, you're hot, I want to be with you or whatever, but only in these conditions. Let's put it out there, shall we? If you're having a sexual relationship with somebody that has, in parentheses, no strings attached, meaning you're not allowed to catch feelings, you're just gonna do the deed and get it over with. That's not a real relationship, y'all. You're hurting yourselves. You're destroying each other. Okay? And I don't think there's any way to even say that, oh, I meant it with the best of intention. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. That's it. I'm putting my foot down. There's no way. I want you to understand something. Every time you have sex with somebody, it's not guaranteed to go well. It's not guaranteed to be one of those situations that, you walk away proud of, because at some point you want the intimacy that goes along with it. What y'all are trying to do is skip all the intimacy stuff and get right to the point. But once you have the end goal in your hands, what is left? To cuddle? Really? To talk about stuff? What do you talk about the next time you have sex? Like, really? You're shooting yourselves in the foot. You're cutting yourself off at the knee. You are destroying yourselves on purpose. And I want you to understand that, because this is the problem with our culture at the moment. And I say culture very loosely because it's not necessarily Indian culture or Singaporean culture or American culture, whatever. This generation of peoples are happy to tell me that they've been with an older woman before and they prefer it because they're more mentally mature. Well, guess what? We may appear mentally mature to y'all, but y'all don't appear mature to us. Y'all cute and everything. You have the stamina and the body and everything, but your mind isn't there. So I need y'all to understand something. You need to get to know each other better. You want the intimacy? Work on the intimacy. It takes years to build intimacy. Do it. Figure it out. Work on it. Ask the questions. Have the fights. Discover each other. Discover new parts of yourselves. Do the work, damn it. This is not porn. You're not getting paid to do all these things. And even then, in the porn industry, I know that there are a lot of people that are supremely unfulfilled and miserable because they want something of substance. What is substance? What does that mean? How do you have a relationship of substance? Any person I've ever been in a relationship with, and I say that loosely, meaning to say that it's friendships, relationships, co-workers, all of that, it's a relationship. Any human relation that I've had has only ended because there was a lack of intimacy. As in, you started drifting away a different direction, and I found that you and I no longer vibe on certain things, and so we just don't talk to each other no more. It's a natural thing, it's not bad. But are you ready for that? Are you willing to lose people by putting down standards, by, talking about the things you do and don't like? Are you willing to not be agreeable and run the risk of losing somebody because you actually want something of substance? Hey, I didn't even know you were listening. Thank you so much, Bonio Vescas, for joining me. But the point being that you know it, you've seen it, you notice people. Hopefully you're not in one because that would suck. But I'm saying, like, you notice people, you know what it's like. People just want to jump in your DMs and mess with you for a bit and then disappear because they feel like it's fixed their itch for the moment. But what ends up happening is they're not fixed for the moment. They're creating a lot more hurt for themselves, and eventually they will pass it on to somebody else, which they will pass it on to somebody else, and you have this domino effect of hurt feelings because no one's talking about anything of substance, y'all. Can we quit with the situationships, please? All these influencers that DM people because, they want attention. They want to feel like they're attractive. They want to feel like they're hot shit. Be of substance first, please. Say something that means something. Take a stand. Be real. But be real all the way around. I know a lot of people. I know a couple influencers right now that post a lot about Tamil genocide with regards to Sri Lankan history and stuff like that, and that's great. They post about human rights and civil rights and women's rights and gay rights, like all the rights. They post all that stuff because people are going to chime into that stuff, right? But when they slide into my DMs, that's not who they are. They're regular, simple-minded people that just want sex. So people will try their luck. It's okay. I get it. But when I draw a boundary, they suddenly get pissed off and upset, and I run the risk of having people talk shit about me because I put down a boundary. Does that make sense? And I get it. There are a lot of people out there that are afraid to say no because of what could happen on social media. Anybody could say anything. They could post pictures of yours from like 10 years back on your timeline or whatever and then say that they were with you that night. They can say anything. I know that. But I put the boundary down anyway because I got to get up and wash my face in the morning. And when I look in the mirror, I want to know that I did the best I could. I didn't do anybody wrong. I didn't do anybody dirty. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't piss you off. I didn't hurt you on purpose. I didn't shame you or make you feel guilty about anything. I minded my own business, and we are still friends. That's what I want, ultimately. But that's not what y'all want. Y'all want situations where you have the opportunity to be important for a moment. But what happens once that moment is over? You're going to replay the thing over and over again? Or are you going to reread the same couple of sentences where you're all flirting? Like, what are you trying to accomplish here? Why not put your heart out there? Like, really put your heart out there where you could get heartbroken, but you're putting yourself out there because you really want a connection. I know that it's important to have boundaries, but the boundaries aren't to keep you inside. The boundaries are to keep people with bad intentions out. As in, if I say, hey, you know what? I would really rather you not call me by my full name because I feel like I'm getting in trouble every time you say my full name. I'd rather you call me by my nickname instead. And if you oblige me, then I know that you're listening, you're paying attention. If I tell you I don't like being touched, and you pay attention to that and you behave accordingly, then I know you respect me. You respect my wishes. Regardless of what it is that you may want to do, you respect my wishes. It's about feeling safe with someone. It's about being able to say, hey, I know who that person is, and I know they see me as I am, and they're giving me the space to be myself. And when we're together, we get to be together. And when we're apart, we get to be apart. And that's okay. There's no jealousy. There's no anxiousness. There's no worrying about what I'm doing, who I'm doing it with, where I'm going. Like, none of that. I get to be. That's what real intimacy looks like. It's not one of these situationships where, oh, are you free for lunch? Let's go sit down and have lunch. And then when you have lunch, all you want to do is talk about how you would rather be making out and having sex instead. Like that's not the kind of relationship y'all want, man. Please. Take Tamil movies, for instance. It's a little warped. Yes, the boy has to chase her to the ends of the earth, and the minute he decides he doesn't want her is when she just suddenly wants him. But do you see the amount of effort they put in? Do you see how much he sacrifices to show that he actually does love her? Do you see how vulnerable they have to be to prove that they actually are being serious? It's not one of those, just for the moment, because I feel like you're kind of cute right now. It's not like that. Those kinds of connections do exist if you put in the effort. Your friendships could become best friends. Your best friends could become the best spouse you ever had. But how do you become a friend? How do you become a best friend? You gotta put in the work. You gotta learn the other person. You gotta pay attention. You remember when you first fall in love with somebody, it's like puppy love, right? You can't help but just like follow them around everywhere, like lost. You want to hear from them all day long. You want to talk to them all day long. You can't wait to share, what you had for breakfast, what you had for lunch, and then, why your cat sneezed on you. Like all that dumb shit you want to tell them. And that builds intimacy because you feel like the other person is right there with you. But as you go, things change. You start to move in different directions. And at that point, it becomes an effort to create intimacy. And that's supposed to happen. That's a part of maturing in your relationship, because if you don't make it a point to check in with each other, and I'm not saying, oh, I'm here now, oh, I'm here now, oh, I'm here now. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, hey, you told me that you had a meeting at work today. How did that go? Were you prepared? Did you feel good about it? Like, to really be invested in the other person. That's how you build intimacy. That's how real relationships are built. It's not about tracking who you are on social media and what you posted and where you posted, because you need to keep tabs on people. That's not it. Situationships are ruining the idea of love. So many more people right now would rather be alone than be in a relationship because they feel like relationships are too much work. And then they feel like relationships don't last anyway. What's the point? And then they feel like, in a relationship, I should be able to get my own say, but you don't think about the other person. And guess what? They're thinking the same damn thing. No one is teaching people how to love each other. Me getting on live every night and talking to you about this stuff, like all these stupid things that have occur to me, that's love. I'm sharing with you. I'm giving you a little bit of an insight into my life and the things that I'm contemplating, the things that occur to me, the things that make sense in my business and don't make sense in my business. I'm sharing a piece of myself. That's intimacy. When your boss trusts you enough to tell you, hey, this is the direction the company is going. I'm worried about this, this, and this. I really want your help so that we can make sure that we succeed. That's intimacy. They're being vulnerable with you. They're telling you what they need, and they're given the opportunity to say no. That's intimacy. That's vulnerability. But we don't do that anymore. Why? We want a quick fix. Why? Because it feels good in the moment. Okay, it feels good in the moment. What happens when the moment passes? Then you sit with your thoughts and be like, oh my God, what the hell did I just do? Really? No more situationships. Hold your head up high. Save your self-respect. Do what feels good to you. Don't stay in a relationship just because you think it's the best that you could do, especially if they're abusive. Make a stand. Tell them what they're doing is wrong or hurtful to you. In very plain English. I mean, whenever I think about these things and how I'm teaching, I think about my daughter. How would she explain it? I don't like this. Simple. I don't like this. Okay, well, what don't you like about it is the next question. And if she can answer that, then we can eliminate the part that she doesn't like and she can maybe go on her merry way. But we don't ask why. And a lot of times we don't ask questions to actually understand the answer. We ask questions to prove that we cared for a moment so we can get our 2 cents in afterwards. The way we communicate has changed. We went from hieroglyphics to parchment to novels back to hieroglyphics. We're losing it, y'all. The ability to connect with somebody else. The ability to open up and really see someone else. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to teach you how to avoid situationships, how not to create them, how not to get snagged into one. And maybe we don't change all of Singapore, but I'm telling you right now, if I can change your world so that you feel a little more free and you're a little more open to actually understanding what love really is, then I won. Then I was worth it. So there you have it, my goal. It's October 1st. We're in the fourth quarter. And my goal is to change lives by getting rid of situationships. Because if I can teach you the skills it would take to set boundaries, to teach the other person how to love yourself, I think it would be worth it. Totally worth it. So what do you say? You ready to take this challenge with me? No more situationships, okay? I'll catch you soon. Bye.